What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tone Clones, the series where I try and replicate famous guitar tones using nothing but guitars that I already have on hand and my Kemper stage profiler that I have sitting right below my desk. Today's episode, we're covering none other than the legendary Blink-182. Been one of those bands. They've been going pretty solid for the last 20 years. They've been a huge influence on myself and a bunch of my friends that are kind of in that punk rock, pop punk community. And honestly, it was really fun to try and do them because they're one of those bands that I've grown up kind of playing the songs, and I couldn't believe I really hadn't sat down to try and figure out some of Tom DeLonge's tones. So, those guys, he's famous for using everything from the Super Strat in the earlier days, moving on to a 333 in the later days that he had both a signature Epiphone, and I think they did some Gibson custom shops for him. Fortunately, I don't have either of those, so what we're using instead is probably the closest thing I have to Tom's original, the Strat that he used to use back in the old days. Notice this is not an Invader, which is what he used to have, so this is actually a lower output pickup. It is a Fender kind of PAF style, but keeping in the same vein as Tom in the sense of we've got a Fender, single humbucker in the bridge position, rosewood fretboard, and one volume knob. No frills, nothing fancy here. Three-way switch isn't even hooked up to anything. This is it's a Jim Root model Telecaster that I've actually just covered up the secondary pickup cover with some stickers. So nothing super fancy here, but let's hop in. I'll show you guys the patches and the settings that we're using for his tone. In the rig manager here by Kemper. So for the clean tone that I'm using, it is this Voyager clean profile that I got. Actually, both of these I got from the Rig Exchange, so if you guys have it, they are just completely free profiles that other Kemper users have created and been nice enough to upload. So credit where credit is due. This one's from Neil Connor, and if you just search Voyager Clean, this is what it's originally titled. I just basically renamed it to Tom DeLonge Clean, Tom DeLonge Bridge, just kind of keep my life a little bit easier and keep everything straight. But for this one, I left the amp pretty much the way it came. A little bit of treble, a little bit of a presence boost. As far as the amp settings, graphic EQ, nothing crazy here. No, the graphic EQ is just on here from the original profile. I didn't touch it. We have a little bit of reverb in here, just on a hall setting to add a little bit of that life that you would get if you're playing in a real room. The only two things that I really changed from the profile were I added a compressor just to kind of even everything out, and then a little bit of phaser. I was just hearing kind of a light kind of phase if you listen to the individual guitar tracks on What's My Age Again. So that's where that came from. And then moving on to the dirty tone, we switched to one of these. Basically, Tom is known for using a Marshall JCM 800, I think, with a Mesa dual or a triple rack. And obviously with Kempers, you can't quite do two different profiles at the same time. That is kind of a bummer. If you profile the two amps together, so if we just had his studio setup and did a profile like that, that'd be one workaround, but unfortunately I don't have both of those amps on hand, so we couldn't do that. But this is kind of the next best thing we could do. I'm using this, it's by Naked Dozen, and it's a Mesa dual rack with a Maxon OD9, so just giving a little bit of a boost in there. Ignore all of these EQs. These are just stock from the original profile. I just haven't gone through and taken any of them out. But the only thing that I really did in here was adjust the EQ curve just a little bit. So we took some bass out, pumped up the mid and the treble just a little bit, and got rid of a little bit of that presence, added some reverb, try and get a little bit closer to the recorded sound, and then move the EQ position from post to pre. And you have it right there. Hope you guys got something from this episode of Tone Clones. Like I said, I'm just kind of doing the best I can with what I have and just kind of learning a lot of the riffs by ear right before I do this episode. If you guys have any feedback, anybody you'd like to see me try next time, or even, just let me know how you think I did as far as achieving some Tom DeLonge's tones. I'll be the first to say he's had a pretty long career, a bunch of different gear used, some crazy stuff, especially, pardon me, when you get into the Angels and Airwave stuff, when you start going with crazy delays. That's something I'm not going to be to even attempt to try and do. But this is just to get you started with getting some Blink-182 tones. If you guys have a Kemper, feel like doing, maybe you're covering in a band that you're in, or just want to play in your bedroom and sound like some of your heroes. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.